There we go, yeah. I'm alive! I'm alive! Yeah. If I can just hold that. Oh, wait. Oh, no hands. That probably won't stay, but it's worth a shot. Precariously balanced on the steering wheel there. Get my eyes to focus here. So, let's see. I didn't stay up as late last night as I sometimes do. I think I felt, okay. That's what it was, yeah. I fell asleep in the driver's seat. Didn't even get in the back I think I crawled in the back about 3 o'clock in the morning. And it had been thunder, lightning. I don't know if I think it did rain a little bit when I was sitting in the front. And I kept thinking, hang on. Try to remember to cut that out. Okay, that's better. So, yeah, I fell asleep in the seat up here. Woke up about 3 o'clock or so. 3 o'clock, 3:30, something like that. So I'm like, all right, just get back there and get some good sleep, because you never sleep good in the front. And you're kind of like, ugh, you know. Hang on. Okay, that's better. So, crawled in the back, set up the bed. Got the tarp next to me, just in case. And I think I had just fallen asleep. I put the jacket on, and woke up and I could feel rain hitting me somewhere, but it wasn't. I couldn't feel it through the jacket, but maybe I just heard it. So I got the tarp unraveled as quick as I could, and unfortunately, when I'm rolling up the tarp, I'm not thinking about unrolling it. So I don't have it rolled up in a way that I can just roll it out really quick. Like my bedroll, I got that down pretty good, but the tarp, it's so big that I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet. So it's kind of like a mad scramble, try to figure out which way it's going and set it up and get underneath it. And you're like, okay, good, we're ready now. And you just hear it raining on you. I don't remember if I ever peeked out of the tarp once I pulled it up, because it rained often enough that it was just constantly raining, and I've got so much light. Actually, I like sleeping under the tarp because I've got so much light from the street light right here. Just beams down on me. And so once you get the tarp over your head, it kind of softens it up. It's not enough to block the light, but at least you don't feel it's, burning through your eyeballs or something. So anyway, it was some rain, but under the tarp, you're like, whatever. I could feel a few times, though, that if I shifted, there would be a puddle and you'd feel the puddle run across you, and that's a very strange feeling. It wouldn't hit you. I mean, like, you didn't get wet, but it would run. You could feel the blob of water running across the tarp, and then you just kind of like, run across your arm. You're like, ooh, what is that, But otherwise, I slept good. And I don't know, camping in the rain, that doesn't ever really bother me so much, because growing up, it seemed like, it wasn't always, but the best time for us to go camping is when it was raining, because then we couldn't farm. The field would be too wet or whatever. So I remember a couple times my dad would take us out of school and on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, we're going camping. Okay, see ya. So because it's like, when it's that wet, you couldn't do anything, and it was just frustrating to be stuck at home probably. So I guess going camping was a good idea. So off we'd go camping. And it just always struck me as funny that, it's like, well, we'd have the campsite to ourselves because, nobody else goes camping in the rain, and that was the only time we got to go camping is when it rained, so no big deal. Yeah, when I was on the motorcycle trip, a few times you'd set up camp in the rain, and it's like, whatever, you know. It's annoying, you're wet, but, you know, that's why you have a tent. Anyhow, so yeah, it's 9:20 now. Kind of took my time breaking camp, I guess, so. Let's see. I'm going to take my chance with Denny's again. They're probably going to be really busy since it's a weekend, but it's worth a shot. If that doesn't go well, there's a Village Inn that I've been driving by, if I can remember where it was. There's actually a couple of them I've seen, so I might try that too, just to see. Actually, let's try that first, just because. That'll be good. We'll do that. I keep checking my bank balance. There's supposed to be a bunch of money getting deposited, and that is the worst thing ever, is when you know that it's coming and it's not there yet, and you're like, come on, I just want to go buy something. But anywho, for the truck camper project, I've been kind of dreaming this up in my head. Probably distracts me from work, but that's a good thing, I suppose. My plan is I'm going to make let's see if I can draw it with my fingers here. It'll be more straight lines, but, build a box frame first. Basically, if you ever seen, like, in the back of a pickup, sometimes they have a rack so you can put pipes in. Like, so you have, like, a rack that goes across the top of the truck, across the top of the cab, and then it goes flat all the way back, and then it's got, the uprights and then the frame like that. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to build a cargo rack first, the shape of what I want the camper to be. That'll give it the strength, because I want to be able to walk on the roof without thinking about it. So if I have enough strength up there, then it'll have, a good strength, and you'll be able to walk if you need to. So I'm going to fully box it in, but instead of like a cargo rack, would just bolt to the side of the box in the back, the pickup box, whatever you call it. So instead of it just mounting to that, it's going to mount to that, but it's also going to come all the way down to the floor, because I'm going to box it in on the inside as well, so that you don't see the bed liner inside the truck, kind of thing. Although that would be a clever shortcut, just to not build the bottom at all, but I don't think I'll go that way. It'd be nice to have a real floor at least. So I haven't figured out exact dimensions or anything yet, but one thing I did look up, I was thinking, what do I want to make the outside walls out of? And I had thought about the U-Haul trucks. They have that, it's either a composite or a fiberglass reinforced plastic or something like that. I looked into buying a U-Haul truck a couple times, and one of the things that they advertise is if you buy a truck from them, you can also buy the parts from them. Now, I don't know if that's exclusive or not, but the idea was that, well, they have all the parts, because they do all their own maintenance. And so if you buy a truck from them and then later on you need to do a brake job, you could buy the parts from them. And, I don't know if you get a discount, but at least the parts are available through them, was the idea. Well, I don't know. I haven't asked yet, but I thought it would be pretty cool if you could buy the material that they use to make the truck boxes from, that white fiberglass looking material. So I had thought about that a couple times. I thought, man, that would be a great outside skin for a camper, because it's really strong, it's durable. It would probably have some insulation value, and then you'd still insulate the inside, but it'd be a nice, smooth, strong surface. So I could then just bolt that to the frame that I'm making, was an idea. I think what I'm going to do, though, I looked it up a couple different websites, and most car body, truck bodies are about 18 gauge steel. So I found one website was for restorations. The guy was saying, I got this kind of car. I need to rebuild part of a fender. What is the basic steel that you're looking for? And then there was a couple other guys that chimed in with some really good information, which I downloaded so I don't have to remember it. But they were saying 18 or 19 gauge steel. And then if you can get cold roll, that's got this properties. If it's a hot roll, that's got different properties. There's another kind that's a little bit better to stretch if you're trying to do a compound curve or something like that. So I'm like, okay, so that's interesting. So there was some different information out there. But so I'm thinking, when I go buy the steel to make the frame, I'm going to see if they have 18 gauge steel available in 10-foot lengths or whatever. Or I don't even know what sizes it comes in, but if it's in sheets kind of thing, it's not going to be 4x8 because they aren't limited to wood sizes. In fact, normally steel comes in 10-foot or 20-foot lengths. So then it might be just a matter of figuring out a size that I can haul. I know I can haul a 10-foot in here because in the back of the truck, because I've done 10-foot conduit and it doesn't stick out that far. So you got the 6-foot bed, about 2 feet for the tailgate, so that's 8 feet. So you'd have a couple feet hanging over. So that's not too bad. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to make it the same steel that a car body is made out of. That will add some weight, but it'll be nice and strong. And then as far as finishing it, what I'm thinking is when I get it all welded together, get the basic shape done, and then spray it with truck bed liner. So like Rhino liner type material, you can buy that as kits now. So I'll figure out what color I want. I might just more or less match it to the color of the truck, I think. That's kind of why I wanted to do a steel body in the first place, is so that if I can match it to the contour of the truck a little bit, then it'll kind of look like it belongs there. Instead of your typical truck camper, it's this big white ugly thing off the back. So that's kind of what I'm thinking though. So I'm going to make it out of like 18 gauge steel for the skin, and then spray it with a bed liner material, which will give you some insulation by itself. And then on the inside, I'm going to get a 2-part foam kit that has a sprayer, and then I'm going to spray insulate the inside, and then probably put some. Kind of go back and forth on that too yet. I like that bubble wrap insulation that I have. It's not thick enough, I don't think. I don't want to use fiberglass insulation because driving down a bumpy road, I think it's just going to fall apart after a while. So it's going to be some kind of a foam rubber that I can cut into pieces and stick in there. That'll give me good sound dampening also, which is probably not a big deal, but I'm not going to be in 40 below weather. I don't need it to be, R12 or whatever. If I can get R6, that's probably good enough. Most cars aren't that well insulated either, so, I'll have a heater in the back if I need it. I'll probably end up with a rooftop air conditioning or some kind of air conditioning cooler or something like that for summers. But realistically, the summer I've spent so far on the bus, as long as I can get ventilation, that's good enough. So I'll have less windows than I have in the bus, and if I can make a light colored roof, that should give me decent enough protection, and then I can go find a tree to park under. So I don't know if that'll do air conditioning. I haven't quite got that far yet, but if I can get it better insulated and good ventilation, and basically in a smaller space, if I have a good 12-volt fan or two, that's probably good enough. So that's the plan. So I'll build that out in stages, but the first while, depending on how fast I can build it, but if I can start, every weekend when I go home, build part of the rack, get it shaped up, and the good thing about that is, until you skin it, it's not going to catch very much wind, so it's not that big of a deal if it's back there, and you drive it back and forth. Whatever you weld together, finish the weld, and then it's strong enough to stay there, kind of thing. So. And it's going to be, set up to sleep one, have a little propane stove, some kind of a probably a 12-volt cooler setup. They're pricey, but there's a really nice 12-volt cooler that's actually got a compressor in it. It can actually freeze things, which would be ideal. So if I had the lithium batteries, and actually if I had a good enough lithium battery bank, start the truck up for an hour every day, because I got to drive around a little bit anyway, recharge the batteries, run the cooler when you're driving, you should be able to keep stuff cold at least. So that'd be alright. For now, I can use the bathroom at work, or if I go to a restaurant or go to the gym. So plumbing, not as big of a deal as far as wastewater and so on. This is mainly just for, for initially the week that I spend in town, so I have a nicer place to stay and I don't have to set up the bed and everything. So, when I get off work, it'd be nice to just walk out, crawl in the back, take off my boots, go to sleep if I want to. Boom, you're done. You don't have to mess around with, setting up a tarp, setting up, your little sleeping bag, and setting up the bed. The Army cot, it's easy to put together, but it's still a process. You gotta unfold it, hook the legs together, set it up. It's just, it'd be nice to just get in, close the door, boom, you're done. So that's kind of the dream. Anywho, I'm looking at probably a 6-foot ceiling, which doesn't make it very high really, because from the side of the bed up isn't 6 feet. So I'm looking 6 feet from the floor, so and I might even go 5 feet. I don't know. I don't need to stand up very much. You get in, you sit down, or you go to sleep. So if I have to bend over a little bit, that might, if I can save. One of the things I'm concerned about is how much wind it's going to catch, when you're driving, because it's a pretty good drive, but I don't want to have a big monster truck camper. It's just going to be big enough to sleep in. So I'm going to have an overhang over the hood, though. Over the roof. Not to sleep in, but for storage probably. I can maybe put the microwave and stuff up there. So I'll draw it out a little better probably this weekend. So okay, now I'm hungry. Need coffee. Off we go.